Hello and welcome to the Medyo Serious Talk Show with me, Red Oliero. Today, ang episode natin, AI, ewan ko ba? De, joke lang, hindi yung topic. AI, dapat bang katakutan or dapat bang gamitin? Andito po ang ating resident AI expert. AI expert ba? Or mahirap sabihin no? Kasi it's such a new and emerging trend. But nonetheless, J. Mark Tordesillas is here, ladies and gentlemen. Palapakan natin. Wow, studio audience. Wow.
Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you, Red. Thank you for having me. Magandang araw sa mga viewers natin.
Ang ano lang naman, AI is such a new, well, not relatively new, pero parang trending na ano. Matagal na may AI,
The hype
honestly.
is new. Sabi mo nga, dati kang computer science pala. Hindi ko alam yan. Pero matagal na nating pinag-uusapan yung AI, pero bago yung hype ng generative AI ngayon.
Yes, diba? Yes. Ibang klase. So, mga early adaptations mga tao, kung naglalaro kayo ng games, tapos may mga nakita kayong mga kalaban na mag-think this way or para sila lumaban sa'yo na controlled by your computer, technically AI yung in concept siya. Pero ibang klase ngayon, no? What makes it the buzzword is the neural network, no? What makes it different from how we used to do AI before?
I think yung bago yung generative.
Generative.
Before, neural networks yung sinabi mo, pattern matching yun. So yung mga...
Feed mo lang siya ng mga
Or yung sa camera phone, yung filters, at saka yung gagawin kang cheerleader. So that's technically AI. Pero since the launch of ChatGPT, parang it mimics how you talk, and then you have image generators that could, mimic how you draw or paint, and now you have voice simulations, di ba?
And then natututo sila.
Or pwede mo silang i-train to. You can have a Red Oliero avatar out there that sounds and looks like you.
Actually, AI ito eh. Yung toong tao.
Pero pwede, di ba? Pwede. Oo. So andun. So, yung work ko, iniimbestigahan ko siya kung paano siya gagamitin para sa mga newsrooms dito sa Pilipinas.
I see. Okay. So, I think not a lot of people would say na AI, parang immediately pag inisip nila AI, it's always yung mga nakikita nilang mga videos, yung mga filters, yung mga how to use it here, how to use it sa mga creation ng content. But they never saw it as a application for journalism. How do you see AI fitting into journalism?
First, yung impact niya, no?
Okay.
Sa mga workshops ko, the first thing I showed them is yung Google Trends graph nung interest in ChatGPT. And it's interesting, it spiked into 2023. It happened in time August, September. Sakto opening ng classes.
Wow, okay.
Tapos bumaba siya, first baba niya, Undas. Tapos umakyat after Undas, bumaba ulit siya, Christmas break.
School.
So pag walang school. And there was this big valley during June to August.
Okay.
Sakto sa school vacation. So, alam mo na kung sino yung gumagamit ng ChatGPT sa Pilipinas, di ba? So, tatanungin mo, anong impact sa media ng AI? Yun yung impact. Yung next generation ng audiences natin. Even man nanonood ng show nito, imagine, they grew up using AI. So, iba yung pagtingin nila sa AI at saka sa information ecosystem natin.
It's, I think, yung next level na of, naalala ko when my parents look at me when I was doing my thesis, na, grabe, hindi mo na kailangan pumuntang library. Nandiyan na yung mga journal. Nakasubscribe ka pa sa isang journal page na pwede ka talagang mag-research ng mga journal. You can cite them. Very automatic na lahat. Daling-dali sila. Now, at the same time, yung generation natin are looking at the next generation na parang, grabe naman kayo, may ChatGPT, taga-sulat, taga-hanap, taga-assist, no? Is it looking that way or dapat bang pigilan natin silang gumamit?
No, it's interesting because you would think dahil kausap mo tapos parang matalino siya, di ba? When you chat with it. So the knee-jerk thing to think is that it's a source of information.
Tama.
Which is okay for some questions, questions that don't have a right answer. Like, bigyan mo ako ng speech para sa birthday ng airmats ko, di ba? It's a very good application for that. Pero for myself, as a journalist, di ba? Hindi pwede yun. Kailangan 100% yung information mo. Kailangan hindi 95, hindi 99, it's 100%. So, hindi mo siya magagamit sa journalism straightforward. Na papasulatin mo lang siya ng article, tapos bahala na. So, yung ginagawa ko, trying to find yung applications niya for journalism na hindi source ng information yung AI. It's a way to process data, process information, pero ikaw pa rin yung accountable for the initial information that you gathered.
Yeah. Parang ano siya, use it more of a tool
Exactly.
than a person that will do it for you.
Parang it's Word, it's Excel, di ba?
Tama.
Na gagamitin mo siya, and it is actually a wonderful tool that can be useful for journalists.
Yeah. Totoo. Pero yun din kasi nagiging debate with AI, I guess, no? Like, a lot of people find it threatening kasi, kunwari, kung graphic artist ka, tapos your clients can now generate AI posters, they won't go to you na. But at the same time, may mga tao na nag-iisip na if I'm a graphic artist and I harness the power of AI, then I could do something na hindi pa rin kayang gawin ng clients ko. Ano ba ang tamang way of going about it?
I think kailangan alam mo yung mga issues, like for graphics. Ang problema sa image generators ngayon, there's evidence they were trained on copyrighted images.
I see.
'Di ba? Tapos hindi naman binayaran yung mga copyright holders na 'yon. So kung artist ka, is it ethical to use it? Pero kung nasa Pilipinas ka naman, tapos you're an organization, like if you're an NGO and wala kang pambayad ng graphic artist, 'di ba? And there's this tool where you can generate, a more solo style image, and 'di ba? Na hindi naman copyrighted 'yon. Should you not use the tool? I think for different organizations, for different individuals, iba-iba yung sagot doon.
Okay. So, it's a way then to, I guess, enable people who don't have access to a free graphic artist, mga
ganun. It can be democratizing, di ba? Even sa yung ChatGPT, lagi kong sinasabi sa journalism school, di ba, we're very hung up on grammar, perfect English dapat. So imagine if you have a very good reporter in the countryside sa malayong lugar, tapos hindi magaling magsulat ng English, di ba? Pero nakuha niya yung storya. He did interviews, sumungo siya sa baha, di ba? Now he can publish in English.
Yes.
Di ba?
Or in any language.
Or in any language, di ba? Using the information that he has. So it can be democratizing.
That's true.
Ngayon, kung Pilipinas naman, mawawala yung edge natin. Yung edge natin sa call center, sa
English
BPOs.
speakers tayo,
English speakers tayo.
Yeah.
So if someone knows the technical part but who's not very good in English and he lives in Taiwan or Thailand or Malaysia, baka may implications yun sa natin, sa industriya natin.
It's a very hard thing to to kind of like balance. Parang it just goes to show na talagang disruptor siya ng many industries because the way of thinking and yung usual advantages ng mga tao nawawala, yung mga usual disadvantages nawawala. So parang ang hirap din to find yung when you're applying it in journalism, is there any kind of like pushback from your colleagues or
I think they're usually surprised by what it can do.
Okay.
Because problema yung nung unang salvo niya na, it can write an article for you, di ba? Tapos ang daming malinong article. Hindi pala useful yan. Pero yung mga useful na applications ko, for example, transcription. It's very good for transcription. Na noon, English lang yung pwede mong i-transcribe. Ngayon, pwede ka mag-transcribe ng Tagalog. So it's democratic that way. But it's not yet democratic enough where you can't transcribe Cebuano or Hiligaynon or Bicol right now.
Gets.
So, ngayon, if your government, should you push that? Parang kukunin mo ba yung data to train in those regional languages para patas yung access dun sa AI?
I think dapat parang there should be at least, hindi ko alam kung gobyerno or something, there's a body I think that could help develop it in a way or parang spread the word na it's not really hindi lang masama ang kakalabas ng AI,
I think gobyerno ng Pilipinas should be aware. The different industries, media, that's the work that I do. But other industries too, like BPO industry, and even, trade organizations should be looking at use cases. Tapos, kailangan ma-fill yung gaps na para hindi din tayo dependent dun sa, imagine, this technology is so valuable and user lang tayo. Parang dependent ka sa OpenAI, dependent ka sa Google, dependent ka sa Microsoft, di ba? So, ano yung baon mo? Ano yung dala mo sa table, di ba? Because hindi priority for these big companies to develop, a Hiligaynon model,
That's
diba?
true.
So, who's gonna step in to do that? And that would need research.
And that would be, I mean, maybe sobrang binoblow up ko lang yung potential, pero that could be great din in a lot of ways kasi, kunwari, if I'm doing shows or I'm doing content and I'm a Tagalog speaker, I'm an English speaker, maybe I can now translate my content into,
Maybe.
diba,
Although, I
Bisaya
don't know if
yeah.
it will retain that humor.
Yun
Have you
nga.
tried?
I mean, in essence naman, when they say, why don't you translate your jokes in English? It's always like, well, I think mga 60% mawawala in cadence lang, palang in yung klase ng word, the timing, and then a huge chunk will be lost because of reference culture. Malaki yung difference.
But that's the thing. You don't have to publish them as is. Pagka,
exactly.
Yun yung sinasabi ko when I do workshops for journalists. Ikaw pa rin yung accountable doon, di
Tama.
ba? So, it's a good first draft. So, sometimes I translate my articles, di ba? From English to Tagalog. And then, hindi ako masaya sa output, sa first output. Pero, it's better than, doing it manually. And then, you can refine the jokes after. So, at the end of the day, pangalan mo ilalagay dun eh. So, kailangan ikaw yung human in the loop. Ikaw yung expert.
I think ang pinaka-common na talagang ginagamit ng AI ngayon is yung how people make content with subtitles eh. Because subtitles used to be a very painstaking process of transcription and then putting on the timing. Now, they have the transcription, they have the timing, albeit not perfect, pero you still have that tool na parang, okay, hindi ito yung sinabi ko, edit ko yung word na to. And it's very easy to do over your phone, actually. Sobrang wild.
Sa TikTok, sa CapCut, di ba? It's the easiest thing. Tapos may subtitles ka na, edit mo na lang yung mali-mali. Kikita mo sa TikTok nga, hindi na ina-edit.
Hindi na wala pakialam mga tao.
Push na lang.
Parang kasama na sa culture na automatically sub siya and everything. Ano rin, pati pag-edit ng video, stuff like that, we could see then people that are maybe independent journalists that maybe they make their own content, tapos they don't have the facilities yet to hire an editor, to hire a ganun, but they're really good storytellers. And they're pretty much, the term is,
democratizing.
Democratized, another term for it, maybe enabled. They're very enabled.
So imagine a newsroom na dyaryo noon. Pwede silang mag-publish ng YouTube video na may magandang voice-over. Tapos hindi nila kailangan mag-dub, di ba?
Exactly.
Pwedeng text-to-voice na lang. So that can be applied na ganon as a tool, di ba?
And parang I think that was the subject of a recent strike din sa States, no? Na some actors are parang very much against of kumbaga parang uploading their image and likeness and then AI will act for them and things like that. Kumbaga parang they're already experimenting on that certain kind of tool para hindi para sa akin as a performer, I think hindi ako threatened by them.
I think
parang ang labo.
Mas yung discussion nila, mas interesting because they're not against it per se. But they want the right compensation.
Yes.
Hindi yung one time mo lang ako hinire, tapos AI, kukunin mo na yung likeness ko, and then gagamitin mo na ng libre. Parang, dapat bayad yun. Diba?
Kasi kung magawa nila yun ng totoo na, talaga, hindi na ako papasok, and I can just give you malaking bagay din siya if you license your image and likeness towards it. Diba?
Pero kailangan dun yung consent mo. Parang gusto mo ba na gamitin siya sa commercial for a product you don't agree with. I think that's what you should be aware of.
I think dapat sa dulo parang we shouldn't just because you can. Diba? Doon ako worried sa Pilipinas because historically, we've kind of been behind always in technological standardization or rules or whatever, parang ganun. So, parang doon ako worried that, do we have any existing...
No.
Wala?
No, we don't. Actually, ahead yung Pilipinas sa technology. Ahead tayo sa text, ahead tayo sa social media.
Tama.
Diba?
Pag social media talaga.
And now, alam natin, yung mga bata, tinatanong ko yung mga professor pag nag-workshop ako, gumagamit ba kayo ng ChatGPT? And most of them don't. Sinasabi ko, yung mga estudyante nyo gumagamit na. So, behind sila ron, pero the next generation is ahead. So, kulang tayo sa regulation, kulang tayo ng mechanisms to engage these tech companies. Like, for example, I know the COMELEC released guidelines. They're trying to get a hold of AI and the use of it for elections. Pero paano mo i-enforce? Yun yung issue.
Yun yung, I think, wild din yun. Kasi you're talking about it on how to enable your journalism, di ba? At the same time, you're also kind of, gano'n naman talaga with everything, di ba? With how the internet first came on, and the same people that are using the technology to communicate with their loved ones abroad is the same people that are sexual predators that are communicating with, di ba? Parang may gano'n talaga.
The same people. They use the same platform.
I mean, the same platform, sorry. The same platform is being used, di ba? By different kinds of people. So, parang gano'n din. Parang ngayon din, a lot of people are focusing on the negatives, but also, we have to understand, parang in every kind of platform, hindi naman absolute good lang ang makukuha mo out of it. Then, when you do the absolute good, maybe regulate how other people use it, no? So, what I'm pertaining to is parang you're using it for journalism, to enable it, to enhance it. But other people can use it for misinformation, fake news, di ba? Ganong klase.
I think it's holistic yung dapat pagtingin, no? Na it's a tool. It's not just the technology you have to solve for. So dapat human yung solution. Like, for example, sa India, nagkaroon sila first AI elections. So people were afraid na dadami yung fake news, dadami yung misinformation because of AI. Pero hindi, ang nangyari, hindi ginagamit, well, merong instances na ginagamit siya for misinformation. Pero most of the cases they had was using it for campaigning. So merong instance na isang patay na, years ago, patay na politiko, ginamit yung likeness niya ng political party niya to campaign online. Right? So deepfake niya, everyone knew it was deepfake. Right? But the message resonated with people. Another video ni Prime Minister Modi, a dancing video na, una kinakansyawan siya, pero nire-share niya. So, naging cool pa yung video. So, yun. And the biggest use case was actually personalized voice memos. Imagine, yung mga scam na nakukuha natin, alam na yung pangalan mo. Imagine, if a politician can leave a Viber message for you, oy, Red, huwag mo kalimutan sa eleksyon, di ba? In their voice, in language na patok sa'yo. How effective would that be?
Kasi kunwari, naalala mo dati, may nagsulat pa nga ako dati ng ringback Pagtagot mo, hi, ito si Bong Navarro. Parang gano'ng klase, di ba? Parang,
imagine kung ma-customize mo pa yun, di ba?
It's such a, will it come into play, you think, in the next,
It could. I don't know how effective it is. It's more really to boost support for candidates and to talk to their base, to galvanize their base para ma-fire up Puro kansyawan lang sa social media. Pero thinking about that, kailangan buong system yung iniisip natin. Ang findings noon ng mga experts was that ang problema natin, yung spheres of public information, tinatawag ng experts na parallel public spheres, na the politicians, the candidates, have their own following already on social media, so they bypass yung news organizations. Hindi na sila na-fact check. Direct yung message nila sa TikTok, sa Facebook, sa Instagram, diba?
It's not like parang pag nag-post sila ng ads, lulusot pa to sa Ad Standard Council. Can you corroborate that claim, diba? Can you patunayan mo ba na ganito mo? Iba na The arms race, the battle for campaigning changed drastically, I think, noong 2016. And more evident noong 2022. And now, sa next national election, 2025, you can see na parang candidates are more willing to get out there and do things in TikTok, sumayaw ng bini, magkaroon ng Q&A sa IG Reels and everything, go live, do content. Doon na napunta yung labanan
Dati nga, kita ko sa political ads, they had endorsers na artista. Ngayon, may collabs na sila with influencers, di ba? I think that kind of, is it illegal? No, but we should be reporting on that. That might be a bigger, more immediate danger than, just AI.
Oo kasi ano siya unchecked siya no, I guess. And at the same time, parang I was in the Creators and Influencers Council of the Philippines. Nag-ano ako doon, nag-talk ako doon. And they asked na parang how can this council be more effective in helping influencers, be more ethical, mga ganong klase. So I told them, alam mo, nasa atin na nag-joke na ako para sabi ko, nasa atin na kung kinukuha tayong endorser ng mga kandidato, mag-party list kaya tayo ng influencers para lang, alam mo yun, parang hindi ko sinabing tumakbo ka at dahil celebrity ka. Take someone na competent and then maybe try to kind of like create laws or parang ganun na parang hindi masyadong all out talagang basta may followers ka, pakinggan mo ko type of things. Dapat
and
merong
yet, gina-joke mo, meron ng mga influencers na file COC.
Parang I think it was a week after. A week after, nakita mo si Diwata, nag-file ng COC. So parang, hindi na joke to.
So how do you deal with that as a community? Like, is there efforts in the community na, mag-guidelines naman tayo, hindi yung basta kinuha ka ng politiko, makikipagkulang.
I think wala kasi ang pagiging influencer, I think it's really just really grounded on your own personal beliefs. I mean, a lot of people follow you because of certain things, pero I'd like to believe, kunwari, if people follow me, parang I'm kind of like now trying to reveal myself or yung ethics ko bit by bit with my content. If they watch the Medyo Serious Talk Show, they know what I care about. They know that I have episodes about voting properly, alam mo yun, researching your candidates.
Serious na yun. Hindi lang medyo serious yun.
Pero alam mo yun, parang tinatry ko to be palatable with people who followed me because I used to do fat jokes online, di ba? Mga ganong klase. So, it's very, very it's a hard thing to Pero ang problema, it all depends on yung ethics ng personal tao, di ba? And I think the same din yun with whoever uses AI. Kung talagang wala kang pakialam at gusto mo kumita ng pera, gagamitin mo talaga yun for
and nakikita na natin siya. Di ba sa Facebook, ang daming AI-generated images na engagement bait lang. Magpadami lang ng following sa mga pages nila.
I mean, they'll just say that they just say a short disclaimer. They're already absolved from the law. Parang ganun. But they don't get minsan, even if you put out a disclaimer a day after or even within the same post, a lot of people will take that post and use it as fact. May mga tao naloloko.
So, actually, yun yung isa na hina-highlight ko ng mga dangers na yung may term yung mga experts na liar's dividend. Ang ganda. Na the more people are aware that it's easy to do deepfakes online, more and more people will try to use that to escape accountability. So kahit totoo yung video, sabi, fake yan AI lang yan Ang favorite example ko, may isang politiko galing sa Taiwan. Merong video na lumabas na nasa hotel room siya, may kasama siyang babae na hindi niya misis. Tapos ang sinabi niya, deepfake yan, AI yan. Tapos pinaimbestigahan nila sa parang Bureau of Investigation nila. And the result was inconclusive.
Okay.
So hindi ko alam dun sa kung totoo ba yung video na yon. Pero that's something we have to guard against na
that's hard.
Ako sa akin, ang optimism ko na lang doon, siguro, I don't know if I'm delusional, is that the more people know that you can't believe everything online, baka there's an opportunity to ask them to go back to trusted media.
Tama.
Na, huwag kayong maniwala basta-basta sa fino-forward sa inyo. Check nyo muna yung trusted organization nyo. May Viber post ba sila? May Twitter post ba sila? Sa website ba nila? Meron nung verified na. Diba? And hopefully, with the younger generation, more attuned to AI,
tama.
Diba?
Mas
baka mas critical yung thinking.
Nagkaroon na ng surge of verifying fake news and information because of, kailan ba to, ng pandemic, when a lot of people are saying na, it's okay to drink ivermectin, it's okay to do that, do this, mga ganong klase. A lot of people are saying na, alam mo, nagkakalat na conspiracy, a lot of people are at home and they're just consuming things like this. Hindi nila alam, nasa algorithm ka na pala, and alam mo yun, the algorithm is just feeding you fake news and fake news, di ba? Iba yung reality ng tatay, iba yung reality ng anak. And a lot of people now kind of insisted after na, go for verified media. before believing anything. So I think that could be a good positive outcome nga.
Actually, the Philippines has had a lot of practice trying to fight misinformation.
Oh yeah.
We have 2 different fact-checking networks in the Philippines, diba? And media organization. It's a coalition of media organizations. Next to political misinformation, health misinformation yung pinaka nakikita nila. And it's interesting because that's one of our few successes in combating misinformation. When the vaccination program started in the Philippines, ang baba nung vaccine confidence. Diba? Pero because of campaigns by the government, yes, but also by media organizations highlighting things like, uy, si Marian Rivera nagpabakuna ng Sinovac. Ako rin, yung nanay ko, okay na rin, safe pala. Tumaas yung vaccine confidence natin, even despite the...
It wasn't as bad as the US.
And tinatanong ako ng friends ko sa US, bakit ganun? How did the Philippines pull it? I think it was also political in that the US, there's a very politically active anti-vax crowd.
Tama.
That's not present in the Philippines.
Saka weaponized siya. I think the media, some media na may mga alignments kind of like use it to... I don't want to say mali yung term na weaponized, but it's to their advantage na they don't believe in vaccine. Parang ganun. Certain kind of people na parang kinocurate nila or parang inaalagaan nila na ganun ang way of thinking because they wanna, they're leaning a certain political direction. I think here, all sides of magbe-benefit if everyone's vaccinated.
There's a very tiny minority who's vocal online.
Of course.
Pero, I think it's remarkable. Look into that, study that, how you turn that, public confidence around, and maybe you can apply that to other issues, diba?
Yeah. Yun yung I think a very good way of attacking it like that, no. Pero right now, dahil nga super enabled ng mga tao to like I saw like a video of parang ayoko na pangalanan pero parang na siya, yun nga, patay na politician and then he's endorsing this certain kind of politician and then puro disclaimer yung caption that it was made for friends of, not an official release, blah blah blah. It's starting already and ang nakakatakot dun is merong mga tao na talagang they eat up that kind of narrative, I guess. So is it up to, I'm pretty sure, baka pag rin din yan, pag sabihin siya ng anak niya kaninong responsibility ang sinasabi na dapat mayroong badge sa TikTok na
or dapat may Facebook para
unverified.
sa matatanda lang. Yung joke sa online.
Yun yung joke talaga. Sa lahat ng no offense sa joke, sa content ko, pati may magko-comment na, dito ka na, sa Facebook ng pangmatanda. Parang ganun.
Tingin ko, kailangan holistic yung approach for media, dapat andun tayo sa mga platform na yon. We can't lose by default, diba? Kasi minsan maghahanap sa TikTok ng balita, kung wala yung news organization doon, kahit anong balita na lang, papanoorin ko na lang, diba? So kailangan merong ganun. Kailangan may engagement din sa mga platforms, sa Facebook, TikTok. Fina-fact check na to ng mga media organizations. So pag na-fact check, dapat there's a step where bumaba na yung reach nung page na yon, di ba? Dahil na fact check na So dapat magkaroon ng mechanism na ganun. The third, I think advertisers should look at what, they're sponsoring. If this page is, di ba? Minsan programmatic kasi yan They just buy and then kung ano yung maraming views, lalagay doon. Parang dapat katokin din sila na, alam nyo ba na yung pera nyo napupunta dito sa someone spreading misinformation? And then, the last is you mentioned influencers. There are efforts by media organizations like PCIJ and Probe to work with influencers to guide them in journalistic practices. So that mas informed sila. Hindi naman pinagbabawalan na to endorse or to talk about politics, pero at least have that training, have that background na ano ba yung kailangan mong gawin, anong vetting kailangan mong gawin before you enter into those kinds of transactions.
Nakakabulag kasi yung lalatagan ka ng 6 digits, ang daming zero bilang maya-maya, hindi mo na-research yung hindi mo na alam Parang minsan meron kang values, bigla na lang nakikita mo rin. I'm not saying na mukha kayong pera, pero I'm trying to crawl under the skin and then look at it na, okay, paparalin ko pa yung anak ko.
Saan mo pa kukunin yung pera
saan
na?
kukunin yung pera na to, 'di ba? So, they know, parang alam din ng mga taong nagbabayad yan na ganong klaseng kalakaran na nangyayari, 'di ba? But that's a great point on advertisers, because sometimes I would think na when they place their brands in certain places or who give their money to, it's just a tipong naka-descending order lang yung list of followers na yan eh. Tipong sino pinakamadami, sino pinakakonti, ano yung magkano nang kukuha mo, ganyan. They don't see data on an Excel sheet na tipong, ito, nag-endorse to ng ganitong klaseng may problema. Parang I don't think they research that well minsan.
Yeah, oo. And gano'n naman, I think it's a microcosm of a larger issue in society na nangyayari pa rin yung vote buying, di ba?
Tama.
And easy money yan for you if you take that. Pero anong kapalit nun? I think dapat iniisip din ng lahat ng tao involved na anong kapalit nito? Parang paano babawiin itong binigay sa akin na pera na to yung pagnanalo to, di ba?
At the same time, I feel like nilayout na natin to lahat ng mga potential problem ng I think AI can also be used to counteract that, don't you think?
Yeah. I think one of my favorite uses of AI is for data analysis.
Yes. Okay.
And we're not just talking about numbers. You can use AI to process, campaign finance reports or it's data, di ba? But also everything can be data now. If you transcribe a video from a Senate hearing, you can get a summary from that, right? And you can, for example, you can record all Senate hearings, transcribe all of them, and then you can classify kung ilan dito yung tinakel yung ganitong issue. So now you have all this big information, and now you can do pattern analysis even on audio, which you can't do before without AI.
That's intense, ha? Kasi before, we used to only be able to input numbers and look at the figures and everything. Now, these are subjective thoughts na...
Right. And also, you can't have your reporter, nagko-cover yung reporter mo ng Senate hearing, pero you can't have him do content analysis during his coverage. And that's what you use the computers for.
Tsaka very accurate because that AI will take it all in. Diba? Word per word.
Or yun nga, hindi mo kailangan na super precise, pero even just, finding patterns, right? Who's talking more, who's dominating the conversation, what kind of topics are brought up every time.
Data that comes out here, the analysis that comes out here, are they fairly accurate?
They could be. Yeah,
okay.
I think they are. And also, it's easier, for example, to do analysis if you're looking for something. It's easier to find the needle if you have a fair idea what the needle is. So you can take all the episodes of the Medyo Serious Talk Show, right? And find patterns in the data, right? And so if you want to look for a certain thing, that's easiest. But you can also do it unsupervised, pagulungin mo lang yung AI. And then ika-cluster niya yung topics mo without you supervising it. And that could be valuable. So if you could do that for a certain data set, why can't you do that for another?
Tama. And these are all things na siyempre hindi mo naman siya ipapresent kagad ng raw sa mga tao, di ba? You just get what information helps, di ba?
Etong insights. Or kunwari, di ba? So if you're running a TV show, parang anong topics ba yung mabenta sa viewers
mga tao, tama.
Di ba? And then pwede mong pagbanggain yung data na, and that could be very valuable.
And all of these data are accessible lang on the
Well, right now you can transcribe this interview on YouTube, di ba? So you can download that, and then you can find the viewership data, and then pwede mong pagbanggain talaga.
Oo nga, pwede kang like different pieces of data na pinagbabangga mo. Grabe. Sobrang, di ko alam kung na-excite ako doon at mukhang magsisisante ako ng isang editor dahil di ko na kailangan.
Wag na nga. AI is a tool.
Yun yung I think more of I'm towards the fact na I think AI is more of a tool than something na katakutan. Or do you think people will replace people, di ba? Do we kind of, parang, ang hirap din kasing i-endorse Alam mo yun? Mahirap ko sabihin, hindi, AI is good, pero hindi mo alam it's being, there are very terrible applications for it din. Diba?
Parang ako, where I come down on it is AI can be useful.
Okay.
And I'm a realist na there's no putting the genie back in the bottle. Diba? Ginagamit na ng mga estudyante natin. Diba? So, kailangan maintindihan mo siya and habang inintindi mo, try to find value in it. Try to extract the value in it. Kung ano. I think may matatamaan inevitably like 40 years ago for an office, 'di ba? May secretary's pool and all they did was take dictation and type up memos, right? And now nobody does that because everyone types their own memos on a word processor, right? And no one misses that. And those people who would have become secretaries do other jobs in the office.
Yeah.
Right? So I think that kind of transformation could happen also with AI.
Okay. That's great. That's great to know. Ngayon, iyan na natin. Let's go towards mga kapraningan ng mga tao. Since this is a medyo serious talk. How likely it is for a Terminator Skynet situation to happen?
Ngayon, ang layo pa. Kasi,
malayo pa. Pwede mangyari.
Lagi kong sinasabi dun sa mga workshop ko na the more you use AI tools right now, the more you realize how stupid it is. Minsan kasi yung magic applications niya pang parlor tricks, impressive. Write a poem about the medyo serious talk show, diba? Can do that. Akala mo, andali. Pero yung
malawak yung imagination ng mga tao eh. Parang, uy, nagawa niya to, paano pa kaya to?
But one of my first AI tool projects was I created a bot that would process COA reports, commission and audit, diba? So, it's important kasi every town, every city, the Philippines, merong COA report yun. And there's no way everyone can read all of that. So, I did it to process. And I tried asking it, pretend you're an investigative journalist. Sabihin mo sa akin yung mga storya rito, di ba? And it can't do it. Sometimes it would come up with something useful, but most of the time, it's motherhood statements, right? So, my approach had to change where I only said, i-summarize mo to para sa akin. Give me the headlines. And then, if you're a journalist, makikita mo ano pang headline, and then you can ask questions about it.
Okay.
So, hindi mo in-outsource yung critical thinking mo dun sa AI. Ang binigay mo sa kanya yung grunt work na ang laki nitong file na to, summarize mo siya para sa akin. And then dahil may nose for journalism ako, may critical thinking ako, bigay mo sa akin yung gusto kong makita. So yun yung, so ngayon andun pa yung state ng, I don't know if it's gonna get better. Some people say it would, some people say malayo pa talaga. So ang layo pa natin dun sa Skynet.
It's no different from, kunwari, pinagsabi sa'yo, okay, ito, mag-Xerox ka ng 50 copies of one thing. I-collate mo after. Diba? So, kung luma yung Xerox machine mo, iisa-isahin mo yung one page, iisa-isahin mo yung page 2, i-collate mo ng ganong-ganong klase. Then, there are now modern Xerox machines that will collate it for you. So, it's no different from that. Diba? Na parang, tinanggal mo lang yung clerical work na your human mind could be better at composing or creating ideas or things like that, di ba? So it's really just for a tool for now, ewan ko.
I think it is. And also, what you have to find is what you bring to the process. So, dun sa example ko, ikaw yung journalist, ikaw yung accountable, ikaw yung maghahanap ng storya. Summarize na lang for you. So, for your industry, dapat isipin mo, what value do I bring? Ano yung kayang palitan ng AI na task? Ano yung unique sa akin? So, like, if gusto mong, if you're writing jokes, hindi ka magpaparite ng joke doon, di ba? Pero, you can ask it to critique the joke. You can ask it to give me other forms. You can ask it to translate, di ba?
Or maybe tell me a topic that would be engaging, mga ganong klase,
or
di ba?
trending topics, di ba? Na,
It's ang daming possibility na pwede mangyari talaga. And that's what I think I was excited about AI. Pero yun nga there's a tinfoil hat people. Minsan ako rin na parang sometimes I would go on a deep dive and then, paano ba sila? If ever it happens, is there a plug that we can just pull and then
I
wala
think right now, pwede pa kasi consumes so much power.
That's true.
Where, the big tech companies are actually signing deals with nuclear power plants to get power to train these models. So, pwede mo pang i-unplug ngayon. Ewan ko in the future.
I think this is what people din kind of like, not, parang hindi nila masyadong alam, no? Na parang, this is still something that's really grounded on things that are physical, no? Hindi siya nandun lang sa ere. It may seem like na it's in the cloud, in the air, pero at somewhere along the world, merong computing, may electricity na kailangan magpatakbo dito, and it consumes a lot of power, it consumes a lot of, processing power, computing power, I would say. Go ahead.
And not just that, I think even the data, the original data to that required a lot of manpower. Ngayon, you can go to ChatGPT, upload your picture, and it will describe you. Ito yung itsura mo, ito yung suot mo, di ba? And how it was able to do that, it was trained on hundreds of thousands of images to recognize objects in the image. To do that, you had to annotate your data to put labels on it. And that data labeling happened in places like the Philippines, right? Na outsourcing yung work natin di ba? So a lot of that data was actually labeled by Filipinos. So that's part of we're part of that ecosystem, diba?
Tama.
Ngayon, hindi ko alam how much work still happens in labeling. I'm sure for edge cases ganun pa rin, diba? Kasi tinuturuan mo, tinitrain mo yung computer. So I think it's important then to be aware how much, human capital was used to train these models.
Yeah, ibig sabihin, kumbaga parang we could always advertise na AI learns on their own, pero talagang it's just being fed.
Yeah, that's true.
And I think the more na OpenAI gets fed with all these prompts and everything, they also learn from their daily prompts.
So one of the things I'm particularly worried about na yung sinabi ko nga about the Philippines most of these models are trained on Western data, diba? From libraries in universities in the States, from news organizations in the States. And they don't access the digital archives here in the Philippines, not news organizations or books in the Philippines. So when you ask it about homework, they're dumber about the Philippine context than they would be about the American context.
Tama.
Now, if you're a policymaker and you know your kids are using it for information, what will you do? Like, will you digitize all your data so that these models get smarter in the Philippine context?
May representation tayo sa sagot nila, di ba?
Who would pay for that? Will you try to get compensation? It's a hard question.
Yeah.
Di ba? Na ibabalanse mo. If kids are already using this, then maybe it behooves you to try to make it smarter about your context.
Medyo nag-uncover ka ng parang pang-dalawang episode na usapan dito. Let's go over it quickly. May point ka these people are very, kunwari, not even with AI, like with kunwari, movies or the cartoons these kids watch, no? They even in the States, parang representation is kind of like dealt with na very, very minimal dati. Ngayon, it's parang feeling ko may checklist na ngayon on diversity and parang representation is something that's very important na a lot of like minor cultures or smaller cultures, not minor, smaller cultures can benefit from. So that is a good thing to open up, no? ChatGPT does base it on a lot of information fed by Westerners.
And there's algorithmic bias, garbage in, garbage out. Like, try mo sa Google Translate, pag tinanong mo, Tagalog is a gender-neutral language, right?
Yeah.
Filipino is. Pag sinabi mo, translate, siya ay isang abogado, sasabihin niya, he is a lawyer.
Yes.
Siya ay isang kasambahay, sasabihin niya, she is a maid.
Oh, wow.
Right? So, it's not a problem with ChatGPT because it's a larger language model. Yeah. But that's an example of algorithmic bias. Another is that image generators, if you ask it for a laborer or a menial worker,
Tama.
It will be more dark-skinned. And if it is a white-collar worker,
Tama.
it's gonna be more light-skinned.
Exactly. And now you're kind of like tawag dun, dispensing all these parang stereotypes and
so
wrongness,
the
diba?
machine learned the biases of real world, diba? So So, kailangan aware ka before gamitin mo or lalo sa journalism work, but even other work, di ba? Parang ano yung biases nitong machine na to? How do I compensate for that as a human user?
Tama. That's an excellent point. Alam mo, ang dami pang gustong pag-usapan but we are out of time. That's a very, very good, very, very good point to end in, no? Talagang, I think, at a certain point, you could see that it's such a reflection on humanity, not just, kumbaga parang it's far from being a superior being, I guess, na mas may alam. AI, my God, napakadaming kailangan iungkat. Pero that's all the time we have. This show airs a new episode every Tuesday on the Medyo Serious Talk Show at 1 News, 9 p.m. Please, kung wala kayong TV, just go to YouTube and type it. Pwede kayong gumamit ng AI, tanong nyo, saan nyo mapanood ang Medyo Serious Talk Show? Actually, hindi ko alam kung sagutin nila ng tama. Pero you can just type it on YouTube, Medyo Serious Talk Show, and then you could check out Please share the clips na nakita nyo lumalabas. Engage in all of these videos that you see online because that would really help the product. Thank you so much, Sir J. Mark. Thank you.
Red.
Thank you. Okay.